Have you ever heard of a creature that's the embodiment of greed, hunger, and sheer terror? A monster born from the darkest corners of human nature, twisted by cannibalism and desperation? This is the Wendigo, a horrifying legend that has haunted the forests of North America for centuries. The Wendigo is not just a tale told to scare children around campfires. It's a chilling reminder of what happens when someone gives in to their most vile and insatiable urges. But where did this creature come from? What's the truth behind this eerie legend? Let's delve into the sinister origins of the Wendigo and uncover how it became one of the most feared beings in folklore. The story of the Wendigo dates back to the indigenous tribes of North America, particularly the Algonquin-speaking people. The legend emerged in the harsh winters of the 18th century northern forests, where survival often hinged on the slimmest of chances. With food scarce and the cold merciless, the Wendigo was born as a cautionary tale against greed and cannibalism. But unlike typical monsters, the Wendigo wasn't just something to fear. It was a reflection of humanity's darkest side. It represented a person who, in their hunger and desperation, resorted to consuming human flesh, and in doing so was cursed to become something less than human, a grotesque, cannibalistic beast forever craving more. Imagine a snowstorm so fierce that it traps entire families in their homes, cutting them off from any source of food. Days turn into weeks, and hunger gnaws at their insides like a relentless beast. This is where the Wendigo takes root in the minds of those teetering on the brink of starvation. According to legend, if someone succumbed to the unimaginable act of eating another person, they would transform into a Wendigo, a creature forever plagued by an insatiable hunger. The more they ate, the hungrier they become, and no matter how much flesh they consumed, they'd never be satisfied. The Wendigo is not your typical monster. It's described as a towering figure, sometimes as tall as a tree, with emaciated limbs and skin stretched tight over its bones. Its eyes are sunken and lifeless, and its mouth is filled with sharp, bloody teeth. The Wendigo's presence is accompanied by the stench of decay and rot, as if death itself follows in its wake. Some say its heart is made of ice, and its breath chills the air around it. But the most terrifying aspect of the Wendigo is not its appearance. It's the knowledge that this creature was once a human, someone who gave in to their primal urges and became a monster. In Native American folklore, the Wendigo serves as a warning about the dangers of losing oneself to greed and hunger. It's said that those who are overly selfish, gluttonous, or disrespectful of nature may attract the Wendigo's curse. The legend isn't just about physical hunger, but a metaphor for any kind of insatiable craving, whether it's for wealth, power, or resources. The Wendigo embodies the idea that when you take more than you need, you become something monstrous. The story was used to promote community values and cooperation, especially during the harsh winters when resources were scarce. But the legend of the Wendigo isn't just confined to myth and folklore, it has real-world implications too. In the early 1900s, doctors and psychiatrists began documenting cases of what they called Wendigo psychosis. This was a condition where individuals became consumed by the desire to eat human flesh, even when other food sources were available. Those afflicted would become obsessed with thoughts of cannibalism, believing they were turning into a Wendigo. One of the most infamous cases involved a Cree man named Swift Runner, who in the winter of 1878 killed and ate his entire family, claiming that the Wendigo spirit had possessed him. He was later executed for his crimes, but his story remains a chilling example of how the Wendigo legend could manifest in horrifying ways. Over time, the Wendigo legend has evolved and found its way into popular culture. From books and movies to video games and TV shows, the Wendigo has become a symbol of fear and monstrosity. Its portrayal often varies, but the core theme remains the same, a creature driven by insatiable hunger and a dark, twisted nature. One of the most well-known modern interpretations is in Stephen King's novel Pet Sematary, where the Wendigo is depicted as an evil force lurking in the woods, influencing people to commit unspeakable acts. The Wendigo also appears in the TV series Supernatural and the video game Until Dawn, each time bringing its terrifying presence to a new audience. Even today, some believe that the Wendigo still roams the forests of North America, particularly in the Great Lakes region, and the forest forests of the northeastern United States and Canada. Sightings are rare, but those who claim to have encountered the Wendigo describe it as a bone-thin creature with a skull-like face and glowing eyes. It's said to be able to mimic human voices, luring unsuspecting victims deeper into the woods. Others believe that the Wendigo is not a physical creature but a malevolent spirit that can possess people, driving them to commit acts of cannibalism and violence. The Wendigo legend has a deep psychological impact, playing on our most primal fears of hunger, isolation, and losing control. It's a story about the fragility of the human mind when pushed to its limits. The idea that one could become a monster simply by giving in to desperation and hunger is a terrifying thought. It's this fear that makes the Wendigo such an enduring and effective horror story, one that continues to haunt us even in the modern world. The Wendigo is more than just a monster from Native American folklore. It's a reflection of humanity's darkest impulses. It's a reminder of what can happen when we let greed, hunger, and desperation take over. The Wendigo legend teaches us to be cautious, to respect nature and each other, and to be mindful of the line between human and beast. Because once that line is crossed, there's no turning back. The Wendigo will always be hungry, always searching for its next victim, forever lurking in the shadows of the darkest woods. As you listen to this tale and shiver at the thought of the Wendigo's icy breath, remember that the true horror of the Wendigo isn't just in its monstrous appearance or insatiable hunger, is in the idea that this creature was once a person, just like you and me. And that's what makes the Wendigo more terrifying than any other monster. It's a horror born from human nature itself.